everyone, today vintage spring decor thrift flips. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Tonya, and if you're returning, welcome back. And I hope you all like, share, and subscribe. For our first DIY, I'm going to do a vintage cloche. I'm going to be taking this clock that I have had that doesn't work anymore, and that large vase, I actually picked that up at Dollar Tree for $5. I have this finial that I had picked up at a thrift store, and those usually go on the end of the curtain rods, but today we're going to be using it for a topper. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my clock apart, and I don't think I'm going to use the glass, so I'm going to save that in case I want to do something else with it. But everyone, the base of these style of clocks fit perfectly with that large vase. Now, once I get that taken apart and get all the backing off, I'm going to use some of these really beautiful spring placemats that I found at Michael's craft store. And I just found these the other day, and I just thought they were so pretty. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick a pack of those up. They were 40% off. And I just cut a circle out to fit right down inside the clock area to cover up the numbers there. And I'm just going to use a glue stick to apply this. And I really like this idea because this way, if I wanted to add maybe a fall kind of paper to it later, or even a Christmas paper, you could just glue it right over top. Now I'm going to be painting my base black, and I just really like the way the black looks, and I still have a lot of black in my home. And I just think it looks really pretty too with that bright floral paper. But everyone, this was such a great idea. I love how this looks displayed on my table, and I hope you give this one a try. And if you have any clocks, see if you can find any of these large vases that will fit down inside of them like this, because this is such a really fun piece, and I'm excited to be able to decorate this for all the seasons. And I don't know about you, but it is so hard to get that thing right in the center. But I finally ended up finding a spot which I thought was the center. So I ended up using some of the E6000, and I just glued that on. It did take this one a long time to set up on glass. Now, once I get that glued on, I'm going to go ahead and touch this up with just a little bit of black paint. I didn't have to get it perfect. I just wanted that black paint kind of on there a little bit. And then I took my rub and buff, and I decided to just run some of that antique gold around there. I just like how that looked, and I did the same thing to the top of the finial. I wanted to clean everything up really well. And then you can just pop it on there. And everyone, look how pretty this is. You could even put just like some really pretty candlesticks or something in there, or maybe just a little ceramic spring little animal, or just any kind of little jar or vase, and you could still see a lot of the print on the paper. But I decided, since it's Easter coming up, that I was just going to load it down with some grass, some flowers, some eggs, and then I had this little vintage bell. I just thought I would pop it in there. But everyone, look how nice this turned out. I thought this was a really fun thrift flip idea and a really neat way to upcycle these items into some beautiful spring decor that you can actually use all year by changing out what you put inside. Now for our next DIY, we're going to create an upcycled clock into wall decor. Now, this clock I picked up at the thrift store, and I almost decided to repair this one because I really liked it. But then I come up with this idea to turn it into this wall art, and I really do love how this turned out. Now, this time I'm going to be using the glass, and I'm going to just apply some of the glue stick on there. Love this paper that they have at Dollar Tree. This is such a beautiful tissue paper, and I'm actually going to be doing some of these colors in my bedroom, and I'm hoping to show you what I do in there with the greenery and some of the baskets and everything. It's going to be really pretty. But once I get my paper glued on, I'm just going to take a nail file and just kind of rub that off on the edges. And then I'm just going to place it right inside of my clock and flip it over. And everyone, this is so pretty just by itself, just to hang on the wall. But I decide to add a little galvanized pail that I found. And I'm going to take some of this, what are these? Those little stain that you get. It's like the stamp booking ones. And I really love this. It was just kind of a dark brown. And I just wanted to kind of age that up a little bit and rub that on there. And I really thought that made it look pretty. It gave it that real vintage look. I even added a little to my tissue paper. But I found this little pail. I think it was at Hobby Lobby a long time ago. And I kept it. And I just thought how pretty this would be glued on top of here. And then I just took some of my little florals and pop them right down in there. I don't like to glue mine in case I want to change it out. But everyone, I thought this made such a beautiful little decor piece just using the wall clock and upcycling it into this wonderful design. You'll have to let me know if you enjoyed this one. And everyone, let me know if you have a favorite that I do today. And drop that in the comments below and let me know if you're going to give any of these a try. Now for our next one, which will be our last one, I've only got 3 of them for you today. We're going to be doing a DIY vintage seed box. Now I'm going to be taking this box that I once again picked up at the thrift store, and I just took some of this. It's just a creamy kind of brown color. You can use any color you want. I'm just building up layers on here. And then I took a darker brown and just kind of rubbed that over top. I was really trying to get just a lot of mixed colors on here because I wanted this to really look aged, because it's going to be a little seed box that I'm going to keep my seed packets in. It actually had that little piece there in the center that I had already popped off. And this was a really neat idea. I'll show you this in one of my upcoming videos. I had taken just some of these little pages that had writing and took tissue paper and put on top of it. And it made a really beautiful design. I'm just using the tacky glue to be able to glue this on. But this was so vintage looking, so I'll definitely be showing you how I did this. And see, here's the napkins I used and then some of the paper. I'll try to get that one for you and show you on Sunday when I do some more of the Trash to Treasure. Now I'm just going to get that pressed on there really good. I really like how that had that real vintage look to it with that paper in behind and then the napkin decoupaged on top. But what a fun little way to create that vintage style. Now once I get this all cleaned up, we're just going to hot glue that back in. It did have some little nails in there and I couldn't quite get that to fit down in there. So I do end up cutting a piece of some brown cardstock and putting on the back inside of that just to make sure that that doesn't come out. I'm going to put some high gloss Mod Podge on here. And then I had these wood knobs that I thought I would just glue on the bottom. And I did just hot glue these on because, you know, I'm keeping this one for myself. And that way, if I want to take it apart at any point, I can do so. But you may want to use like wood glue or even the E6000. I decided to put my knob right there on the end instead of in the middle because I really liked being able to see my design that I put in there. I'm going to take another one of those little stamp sets and just kind of brush those dark colors on there. This one is actually almost a black color. And then I had these stamps that I pulled out. I've had these stamps for years and I just wanted to really pop that all around this little seed box and just give it all kinds of character where it just had everything going on with all of the little flowers. And I don't know about you, but I am so ready to start my garden. And I decided just to pop these on all around this box. And I just thought that made this have such a really neat vintage look. And you could leave this little box just sitting like it is, or I'll show you here in a moment how I just kind of took this box and opened it up and just put some florals and a little candle in it. This beautiful little garden area. And hopefully I can get that set up where I can show you some of that. And if you're new here, I'll try to leave that link below where I did take a shed and turn it into a really neat little studio. Now I'm applying some wax on top of here, and that just kind of sealed everything in. If you do this, make sure that you dry your stamped ink really well so it doesn't smear. But everyone, look how adorable this is. I just thought it made a really old looking vintage box. I just took some of this little paper from Dollar Tree and popped that in there and just stuck a few of the little seed packets, this little succulent that I had picked up at Michael's. And like I said, this would make just a wonderful little gift idea if somebody really loves the old vintage style. But there's one way that you can do it. And then here I've got a couple more ideas. Just displaying it on a shelf like this where you can see that beautiful design. And just putting a candle and some florals and succulents in front of it. Well, everyone, I'll let you finish watching this. And like I said, if you had a favorite one today, let me know. Leave that in the comments below. And let me know if you're going to give any of these a try. And I will try to get back on track with my schedule. I was